use this. That. Sorted. Right, thank you very much. I do. What bits of them?
Pardon?
What bits of them?
Little screws. Only little ones. As you can probably tell, I can't even get them out. I'll show you in a minute. I'll put one on the screwdriver. As you probably see, they are very tiny. That tiny, I can hardly see where they've got to go.
Let's do a roll test. Nothing wrong with that. Sorted.
Right, is that as far as you want to go, or do you want another screw in
Well,
there?
I might be extending it to the way this.
Right.
I ain't sure yet.
Okay.
Yeah, nice one.
Done. Gavin's just picked me up on something. I've not done any of this before in my life, but this little joint here, when I was filing it to get the fish plate on, I took a little bit too much off, so it's not dead straight. So Gavin says, do you mind if you can take it out and do another one? So I said, yeah, not a problem at all. If it's wrong, it's wrong, but I'll show you in a second when I take it out what the problem is. I don't know whether you can pick up on it, but just there at the end of the rail I took too much off. So we'll get another piece of rail and I'll try again.
Just cut that piece down.
Eh?
Yeah.
Or do you want to turn it around like that?
No, use the same end. Let me just snip the thing down.
Right, so I'm going to snip a bit off. Back here or...
Well, do it straight for a start.
I know, I'm just saying.
Right.
Where do you want me to cut it? Do you want me to cut it?
Doesn't matter. If you go between the two sleepers and just try and get it vertical. Should be alright. So you can always file it to shape afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, attempt number 2.
And that piece what we took out before, or I took out, I've just repaired it and put a new piece in, and hopefully that will be a lot better.
Let's have a goosey.
Than what the last piece were. It's just...
I'm just waiting for it to focus.
Oh, right.
Come on, you pig. There we go, just push the rail in, tweak. Ease the rail through.
Fire.
There you go, that's it. That's
Done.
it. Cool. Do the roll test again. Yep, nothing wrong with that.
That was a good buffer stop. The other end, not.
It's invisible. Cool. Glug, 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 glug.
My house gone dry.
That's right.
Right, is there any more you want doing?
Well, now you could probably duplicate this if you want to have a go at that.
Why not?
They need to be filed down to size though.
Hey?
They have to be filed down to size, a bit over long. It's just easy enough, a little flat.
Right, on the second one of these now.
Okay. I've left my dad to do that. I'm going to start putting these sidings in. There you go, Will. See how it goes.
You know, when you go down the shop next, can you get me a pair of eyes?
Nothing to sell eyes. I don't know what geometry I'm going to have yet.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly what geometry I need yet. So I've got to make sure you get smooth transitions. I'm going to figure it out, I'm sure. Hold on a sec. If possible. Well, you can have some of this in a minute.
Hey?
You can have some of this length in a minute. I don't need all this length, but just trying to find out what you need. I don't know yet. Okay, we've made some more progress. On the plan, a little baby mark is where that was going to be, and I've extended it a little bit. Okay, these have been completed. All these little soldering joins, and I've cut it. Just have a quick show. There you go. What else is there? Oh yeah, this board. There's a little bit of a sag, and when you put the spirit level across those rails, there's a little bit of a dip. So I'm going to take this board out, put a bracing piece in, right, and then I can pretty much start wiring. Try and lift it. Oh.
Might be easier to slide it.
What's the end of the tracks look like? Are they still okay? Or?
Yeah. Sam. That one's right.
These coaches that kept derailing on the turnouts are now perfectly fine, because I've replaced them with Hornby wheel sets. Right, you'll notice now there's pretty much nothing on it. I've put a bracing strip in here in line with those screws underneath, and another one there, because this bit was dipping. That one's a precaution, and I don't want to risk it basically. So all these little solder things, really, I've already snagged that one and lifted it up. So the idea, it's a little bit stronger because you have the rail super, well, soldered to the rail, so it is a little stronger, but not enough, because essentially just super gluing it to this isn't really much different to super gluing a plastic sleeper to this. What I should have done is put some brass screws in there and solder the rail to the screws. There's different methods, and obviously I kind of forgot what I was doing, but it doesn't matter, it's still a bit stronger, just maybe not as much as it could be. My first plan would be to take the board out, and then I'm going to basically try and do the basic track wiring. And as you remember from the, well, I presume you remember from this, you've seen it enough times now, you've got an orange line, a light blue line, and a dark blue line, separate track circuits. So I'm going to start with this one, the orange line, working there, that way. So essentially, I'm going to put the wires in for the first DCC buzz wire, right? And basically try and work progressively. I still have to understand how to use the new DCC system, which I shall show you in a minute. However, before that, there's some equipment I'd like to show you. Okay, for the main DCC buzz, we're going to use this. Right, 6 amp cable. The layout probably doesn't need 6 amp, but I'm trying to plan for the future. Same for the red. I already have some 3 amp cable that I'll use for dropper wires. Okay, packs of cable ties. Some of these. 2 different sizes because they're lacking stock. They're the bigger ones. And these are the more suitable, smaller ones. Including some little switches I'm going to try and put onto some locomotives to try some little thingy bobs out. I've also brought these, which are not chock blocks like you might think they are. They're special chock blocks that kind of clip together, thusly, like that. Just a real quick and easy way to do board joins. I'm going to be using these that I've never used before. I usually just solder everything, but going for another idea, I've decided to buy these. The idea being, the initial connection from the command station to your layout, I want it to be in that. You just basically press a spring, put your wire and let go, and it's got it. All the other connections will be harder, but that one's just a nice, quick and easy initial one. I did forget to order some flux and solder because I ran out, so I brought some more. This is what I often use. I love the stuff. That, because I've not tried it, going to give it a go. And they ran out of the car's flux that I like to use. I was going to get the yellow one, so the orange one, but I'm going to get this instead. It's quite expensive. Quite a small little tube as well. I thought it'd be a bit bigger. Anyway, I can get started with that. Right. Next one. Right, Z21. And a box of Smales, which is basically a tortoise point motor with a chip in it. This box was very expensive. £365 for the box, plus I brought a little mount, little drilling mount. That was 300 something as well, so this whole week I've spent about £1,000, so eek! And that's not like a brag, that's more like fist in mouth jobby, you know, it's like, yeah. So yeah, let's get on with it. I suppose we're going to take the board out, start wiring the basics, and then I'll see about installing the Z21, get my head around that. And then once I've got that sorted out and got at least one loco moving on it, I'll then proceed to put the first point motor in. Wish me luck. This is the old box with all the other stuff in it. Very useful. And my favourites. Now one other little thing here, with this little drawer thing, it's not particularly super strong, but it's just to use light work. This is where I'm going to be putting the controller, so it's out the way. And one thinking is, if I have it so that the wires that need to go to the track. I usually go under the board, but it's awkward. And what I'm thinking is, if I just have it so they come up here and just plug in there, they're not going to stick out much any more than that is anyway. So that little speaker connector I'm thinking of putting about here, just as an initial connection. That's the plan. I might change my mind. Does it fit? Yes. So let's mark out the screw holes. Okay. Right, so I've drilled it out and the screw holes. It's got to go like that. The tags ain't long enough to pop through, so what I'm going to do is solder the wire to it and thread it through. This will be the first solder connection on the whole layout. He's good, isn't it? Oh, bloody will be. Right, not used it before. No idea if it's any good. But let's have a go. Go there. Get a black one. Lovely. And twizzle. I honestly thought 6 amp cable would be a little bit fatter than this, but it's not, so if it's thick enough, it's thick enough, I guess. That's what it's rated as. We should solder it. Okay, never use this paste, I usually use liquid. I don't like traditional electrical solder where you have the rosin cord, whatever you call it. It's designed to ball up and I find it to be a pain. Okay, just need screws. The reason I put it here, you see I put pencil mark there, is because I like to be able to add other ones in the future if I need them. But that's not going to stick out much, the wire will just stick out a teeny bit. It'll be out of the way pretty much. I usually put these things on the inside of the board, but I just feel it'd be better there. I can always move it if I don't like it. Just put a little test piece in. Obviously the wires can be proper out of the way. And just release it like that. There you go. Simple. Okay. So each end I've done this. Right, posneg, 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 buzz 1, 2 and 3. And I put the cable management pad, whatever you want to call it, for the cable ties there. Might be a good idea to put some screws in later because it could fall off. It does happen. They will go to the first hole and then back up there and so on. Right. Where you have the initial connection, I'm going to use a set of chock blocks to make 3 circuits join into one, and then I can always take them out if I want to, or add some of them extra. It can be changed. But that's what I'm doing for the time being. All these things here, I'm going to make some of those farty little loops. Right, what I've done now is something that's quite common. It's what I've never done before, because usually I'll just use a copper clad strip here and just use that as a giant tag strip, but this time I'm doing it this way. So basically, obviously that's your continuity meter. You put a black wire in, and then because it's all joined up, you see the needle going across, it all joins up. This should be dead, which it is, and so on. And then similarly, same thing will happen. If you do it with the red one. So, live should be dead, dead, dead. So we're good to go. Okay, so we have the power coming in and then the return going out. Now, what's going to happen is there's 3. Well, you can do 4 really, but if you want to ignore the top one, there's 3 outlets here on each side. Now, I'm going to make 3 power districts or separate track circuits. Obviously, with this in place, that is completely cancelled out. So I'm fully aware of that, but they'd be wired everywhere else as 3 separate power districts or track circuits, but they will come here as one, which, like I said, you might think that's pointless, but it's not. Here I might be installing some circuit breakers later on, and this can change if necessary. If the track cuts out because there's a short circuit somewhere, this allows me to fault find a little bit, simply by disconnecting some of these to kill off the other track circuits 100% and see if the problem's still there, and then you just swap it over and do the other one. But yes, power breaker, circuit breaker things is what I'm thinking of. If anybody has any advice of which ones I should use potentially, please let me know. For the time being, this is what I'm doing, like I said, just for now. So you're going to have red coming out here. That's going to be attached to this all the way across with cable ties. The black and the red are going to be wound together. It's supposed to reduce the interference, probably electromagnetic or something, I don't know. But obviously you don't want it too tight because you need to be able to unravel it a little bit to make the connections to the droppers. So I'm going to install the main wire now. Okay, found with these, helps if you just prise it open a little bit just to get the wires in. Just loosens it that little bit. I've already prepared the wires to the length I want. So the first thing I found, if you do it this way, so the metal's facing you and tags at the bottom, I found that's a bit easier. Just pop it in. Not too far, it's a bit too far that is. I want it on the front section. Yep. Just want to make sure it can slide. And then pop this in. I've bent it at the right angle, it doesn't fall out so often then. There's a little moulding at the end, which is like the end stopper. So in it goes. Hold it whilst you do it. It's a bit awkward, but one click, or 2 clicks really, which I can't do with my hand. But I'll get the pliers out. Give it a good squeeze. A few. Tug test. Right, what I'm going to do now is simply stick the continuity tester in and just make sure it works touching the tags, which, well, and this one it doesn't. Not good. Which means I've got to do it again. Actually, it was working. I just didn't have my tester switched on. What a tit. Right, wiring on the floor is a bit awkward on the back, but I can't really do it because the space between there and there is too narrow. So I've done this. End's a bit short, I'll have to solder that and then cover it, but never mind. That's for the centre holes of the screen. Piece of track, that's droppers for that piece of track there, droppers for a set of points, and then droppers for there. So that is literally pretty much the DCC Buzz number 1 installed on this board. That's literally about it. There's not much to do. Yeah, there's nothing really to say. I've continuity tested every single one of these, so we're good so far. What I should do next, I've got 2 ideas on it. Do I install the other 2 buzzes, get all the tracks done, or should I put the DCC system in? I think possibly maybe do the tracks first, get as much basic wiring as I possibly can. Seems sensible. I do need to solder these in, but I should do it tomorrow. Or the day after, or the day after, or the day after. Yeah. Okay, DCC buzz wires are done for the track. Not counting frog wires and point motors, but the main track's done. Okay, this is frog wires. I've redone this bit, as I said I might do. You still have the links, but I can just pull them out. But now, if I just pull them out, I can run 3 separate track circuits for DC mode. Admittedly, there's no section switches, so you have a cut down operational, well, you know what I mean, you can't do as much, but you can do enough just to run some trains in a basic way until they are converted to DCC. And this also allows a fault finding. And yeah, circuit breakers or switches are something I might add later, but this is good for now. Looks quite nice. Okay, I'm filming this on a little old tablet I borrowed from my dad. I have to borrow another one later, or buy one, to get the app to work with this. But anyway, the wiring has been pretty much completed, and what I want to show you is this. I usually film on that, hence me borrowing this. So the quality might be a bit off, but anyway, we'll find out. Z21. Got it all set up. Got a train going. Slow down and stop. Oop, there we go. And also, got my old friend back. Do some welly. And slow down. Oop. There we go. Change direction. Bump. just fine tune that. A bit quicker, a bit slower. Obviously you just flip between it. And you can move them both at the same time, or if you get a tablet you get two of those. Eventually we'll have this, got the track plan set up. That's a Knapford Junction stage. And you've got a Tidmouth stage. So basically my first job now I know the basic track wiring in this board's done. That one I already had, that one I've chipped myself. Can probably add a smoke generator later, but at the moment it's just a case of getting basics done. I'm going to add a point motor here. And if we get that working properly, with that digital readout, I then do the rest of these, and then wiring on that board will start. So, back in a bit.